Hello beautiful people, thank you so much for tuning in. Today I am reviewing the Colin Goldie lowwhistle whistle, and I have both the soft and medium blowers for you so that I can compare and contrast between the two and let you know which one I think is best for me. Definitely best for me. There's no one perfect whistle for everybody, but hopefully it'll help you decide which one might be better for you too. Now these whistles have come from bigwhistle.co.uk. You folks have heard me talk about Big Whistle before. It's a really great website to be able to browse a whole selection of whistles and fantastic whistles from wonderful makers worldwide. And of course, if you're based in the UK or Europe and you don't want to pay import fees from the US or from Canada, and you want to avoid those wait times for whistles coming from elsewhere, they have whistles in stock ready to buy. And yeah, they're posted from the UK. So it's a really great website. Do be sure to check it out. I've linked it in the description down below and up here on the little eye. The first thing to note is that all Colin Goldie whistles come in their own protective black pouch. It is cushioned and padded, and it also has a little bit of Velcro here, so the whistle fits in nice and securely and is kept safe when you want to store these whistles or transport them as well. The whistle itself has a beautifully shaped mouthpiece, and this is moulded as part of the body of the whistle. These are an aluminium alloy whistle, and the mouthpiece is actually quite slim and narrow, and this makes for really comfortable playing. I really like this style of mouthpiece. It's quite a traditional design. But yeah, I think the difference mainly between the soft and medium blowers is actually the sort of width of the windway as such. And this is notated, if I can show you, on the inside of the whistle here, where it's signed, and there are some details on the width of the windway that you can see here. Now we also have the Goldie logo at the back here. It's really hard to show you guys. It is so tiny, and it's just at the bottom of the whistle here. We have the key of the whistle on the front. Some of the holes are a little large, but then that tends to be the case with low whistles in general. Usually the second and fifth hole, as you can see here, but actually I haven't had any problems covering the holes on this whistle. They're not particularly distant, although you probably will need to use the piper's grip. Definitely on the bottom, potentially on the top as well. Now these whistles are also tunable. The tuning slide is sort of a double two-piece tuning slide. You have a little bit of what looks like sort of cork at the top here, followed by a little bit of tape. So the main tuning area you need is that little cork section. The tape is just to keep everything nice and tight, so there's no air escaping when you play the whistle. But the tuning on these is impeccable anyway, so you shouldn't really need to use this tuning slide too much. Once you have the whistle warmed up, you should be ready to go. Now, one great thing to note is these whistles are really lightweight. The aluminium alloy just prevents this from being an overly heavy whistle, and that is great for people with arthritis or who struggle with wrist or finger problems. Sometimes that's really helpful. It is quite a wide bore whistle, not the narrowest low whistle I own. So do bear that in mind if, again, you have those sort of finger or arthritis, wrist problems. Sometimes the wider whistles are a little bit more difficult to cover, but this doesn't feel that way to me. It's one of the easiest whistles, lowwhistle whistles that I've picked up and played straight off the bat, so I'm quite impressed and quite pleased with this one. The mouthpiece is similar in design to the Caravev whistles that I reviewed recently, and even some of the Dixon whistles. I quite like this mouthpiece. It feels like it gives you the ability to be a bit more dynamic with your playing, just because you can move the position of your mouth a little bit, because your mouth isn't filled with whistle mouthpiece. So that's kind of useful. Strange note, but interesting. Now, as I mentioned, the difference between the soft and medium blower, there's actually no difference to the look of the whistles at all. Trying not to mix them up. This is the medium blower. This is the soft blower. As you can see, they just look exactly the same. And essentially they are. The difference being that the medium blower has a slightly narrower windway. And what this does is it helps you create more pressure, essentially. And you need more pressure in your breath to be able to push that air through that smaller space. But for me, I found that actually makes the high notes easier to reach. So technically on the medium blower, although you're blowing harder in general, it's actually easier to hit the higher notes for me on this whistle because of that back pressure. It just feels like it makes the whistle more responsive overall. I found, on the other hand, the soft blower gives you a little bit more space to play around with the notes somewhat, because you need to put sort of more air in general through the whistle to hit those high notes in the same way. Obviously, because you've got a slightly bigger space, you just kind of need to put more breath through, even if you're not blowing as hard, you're not creating as much pressure, you just need a little bit more air in general to hit the same notes in the same way. But again, that does give you, a little bit more flexibility on the lower notes because it doesn't seem to push into the high notes quite as easily for me as the medium blower. I mean, for me, it's probably all the wrong way around. I assumed that I would be a fan of the soft blower, but now I'm tempted to see if there's an even harder blower I can try. Because now I'm curious. Anyway, let's give these a little play and show you how they sound. So as you can hear, these whistles have an absolutely gorgeous, deep, rich and resonant sound. They have a little bit of texture to their voice, which I really enjoy. You can get great, strong low notes, which is always a bonus. And hitting the high notes isn't particularly difficult on either of these, although as I said, I do find the medium blower considerably easier to hit the high notes on than the soft. In general, both whistles, though, are pretty responsive. Overall, I am very impressed. The only downside for me at the moment is the fact that these whistles tend to clog pretty quickly. That is partly due to the shape of the mouthpiece, partly due to the fact that it's winter, it's cold in here, these whistles haven't had the opportunity to warm up to their full potential as such. I mean, you know, the difference in air temperature to the temperature of your breath that you're putting through a metal whistle top to bottom, it's going to happen. But there are lots of different tips and tricks you can use to ensure that clogging isn't an issue. I'm not going to do that on these whistles today, obviously, but I have done it before on my MK Pro. Again, that's a similar sort of build and design of whistle. You're blowing straight into the metal and you're straight into the whole body of the metal whistle. So yeah, they definitely work. There are all sorts of strange tips and tricks, and I do have a video on it. I will link it up here on the eye and in the description down below as well. Now, I'll give you a quick tuning test on both of these whistles, just so that you get an idea of how beautifully in tune they are, and then I'll give you my final thoughts before we go. So as you can see, these have impeccable tuning, and in general, I am really impressed with these, but I knew I was going to be. If you look into Colin Goldie whistles, everybody who's tried them absolutely loves them, and they are one of the sort of first choice for professional musicians and whistle players out there. So it was a treat to be able to play these for you today. I hope you folks really enjoyed it. If you'd like to find out more information about these and check the stock, then do head over to bigwhistle.co.uk. I've linked their website in the description down below, where you'll find these whistles, different whistles from the Colin Goldie range, and a few different keys as well. And of course, you can check out all the other whistle makers while you're there as well. If you have other whistles and other makers that you'd like me to try, let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video and you found it helpful, then do give me a thumbs up, comment, Subscribe if you haven't, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon so you get notifications every time new videos come out here on my channel. Also, don't forget that if you do want to support my channel in order to enable me to make more videos for you folks, more tutorials and more reviews, buy whistles to show you as well, you can support me on Ko-fi and Patreon, where you also get additional rewards for supporting me as well. Or there's also a super thanks button right here on YouTube. You'll find it below the video, and you can support me there as well. The tune I was playing today was a low whistle version, or slow low whistle version, of The Lark in the Morning. Don't forget to check out some of my other tunes on screen as well. But until next time, have a great week, happy whistling, and I'll see you soon. Bye!